Lydia. Why am I unhappy? I have a wonderful husband. By wonderful, I mean he loves me with every breath he takes. Of course, I love him now and have loved him for many years. He provides great support to our family. Girls love him. He is a wonderful person to be around. Neighbors don't hesitate to ask him for help with anything computer-related, and believe me, they ask for a lot. I never suspected that he wanted any other woman besides me. He doesn't even flirt. Derek almost always satisfies me in bed and gets upset if I'm not satisfied. I know he's a pretty good lover because before we got married, I had a few lovers to compare him to. Derek was the best I've ever had, but I've come to realize that my knowledge base is over 20 years old. For most of our marriage, I didn't even think about going astray. Over the past year or so, I never thought I would take the risk of having an affair, at least until the incident with Roger. You see, when I turned 45 and wasn't far away from becoming an empty nester, I found myself needing more reassurance that I was still an attractive woman from someone other than my husband. Even though Derek always said I was more beautiful than ever, I can see myself in the mirror. The breasts that were pert are now sagging. Wrinkles appeared on the cheeks that were smooth. I need to dye the gray out of my hair. The butt that once fit on the chair now begins to fall over the edge. I can still look good with makeup and the right dress, but how long will that last? I began to imagine in my waking dreams what another lover might do. I started thinking about safe ways to date other men if I took the risk. Other men, such as television and movie stars, sometimes came to mind when Derek and I made love. The new, handsome, young guys who came to our office were able to make me sweat just because I thought how lustful they were. I began to clean up my work wardrobe. Cropped skirts, bras that lifted my breasts, and undid another button on my blouse. Compliments from men at work have become more frequent. Changes in my wardrobe have been noticed. Roger was a nice man who flirted with me at work for several years, but I never took it seriously until one day I was feeling particularly frisky. Immediately, I decided to call his bluff and asked what we were going to do together. He immediately responded to my phrase and locked the door to my office. Feelings that had been building up for months caused my morals to spontaneously combust. Without thinking at all about the consequences, I attacked him passionately and furiously. Clothes were discarded, my table was cleared. I leaned over him, and he penetrated me completely with his first thrust. It was at high speed. It was amazing. This caused fireworks of feelings. It was fantastic. We were so lucky we didn't get caught. Our clothes were put back on in record time. He walked away and I sat stunned in my chair before putting the things back on the table. I used a lot of facial tissues, wiping up the liquid between my legs that had spilled on the floor. I had to spray air freshener to cover the smell of sex. The excitement of what we did was amazing. It took a good hour to get back to work. This supposed one-off fling left us both wanting more. Recognizing that our first time was too dangerous, we planned a more secret repeat. Once again, we managed to please each other without getting caught. Short secret dates soon became simply not enough for us. Roger came up with an idea for us to go on a cruise together. For 2 weeks, we were alone, and we did not know anyone who could inform us. I was thinking about how to approach Derek about my absence for 2 weeks. I think I'll use the half-truth method. I will tell him that I need a temporary trial separation to regain my old middle-aged spirit. I need time to think about the future of our family, communicate with different people, have fun and be free to temporarily explore some new relationships with different people. Derek will have the same freedom from me while I'm gone. After 20 years of marriage and sex with only one woman, he would probably like to take a little break from marriage. I doubt Derek will go on a date with another woman, let alone do anything with her while I'm gone that long. He loves me too much to probably just wait and take me back. He might put a little, and I might have to promise not to do that again. I know Derek will endure a lot to keep the wife he loves and his family safe and sound. In addition, he is likely aware that his finances will suffer greatly in the event of a divorce. That's why I'm sure he won't do anything too drastic because of my spiritual quest. I'm very confident. Now I am determined to return and become a faithful wife after the cruise. In fact, I'm already looking forward to it. In fact, I plan to smother Derek with all the sex and attention he can handle as soon as I get back. I think that 2 weeks of uninhibited sex on a cruise will satisfy my desires so much that I will stop seeing Roger for a long time, maybe forever. If that doesn't happen, Roger and I will have to figure out an even safer way to meet. But I will have to avoid seeing him for several months after I reunite with my husband. I don't want to jeopardize my future by sharing my children, grandchildren, and retirement with Derek. We would have to be very, very careful. Now I just need to approach Derek the right way. Someday, when he's in a good mood. I'll find out when. Data, Lydia, and I finished the session, which was somewhat reminiscent of lovemaking. I say kind of because I can tell that Lydia's heart really wasn't happy about it. Oh, she made all the appropriate love sounds and expressed how good it was. However, she was false and almost made me laugh with her insincere acting. However, she managed to bring me to climax, which seemed to be her goal. As we lay on our backs in bed, she apparently decided it was time to broach the subject I had been expecting. "Derek, you know that I love you, don't you?" I thought, finally, here it is. Thank God I was prepared. I played along. "Yes, darling. And I know you love me, right?" "Of course, dear." Inside, I begged her not to go any further. "If I really needed something that could help me a lot, you would let me do it, right?" "Of course, dear. What do you want?" As if I didn't know. I feel the need to refresh my life. I mean my whole life, body and soul, to reevaluate everything, including our marriage and my motherhood. I think I could do this by simply taking a temporary trial leave from my duties as a wife and mother. You guys could probably use a break from me too. We will all feel better when I return, rested and more determined than ever to be a better wife and mother. I feel like I just need a little time to learn everything. Wait, where are you going? I went out into the corridor and shouted towards the girls' rooms. "Girls, wake up. It's time. Take your things to the kitchen." "Okay, Dad. We're not sleeping yet. We'll be there now." "Derek, what's going on? Why do girls go to the kitchen?" "There is no need to tell them anything now. We still have a lot to discuss. We'll have plenty of time to tell them after we talk." "Lydia, our girls are part of the family that you just announced that you want to change. They are both mature enough to understand what you want and the consequences of it. We all, as a family, need to talk about what is about to happen. I think it would be better if we all sat around the kitchen table and each of us had a chance to talk." I went down to the kitchen, despite Lydia's pleas to talk to me alone. The coffee seemed delicious, so I made myself a cup. I love the convenience of our Keurig. I didn't suggest making one for Lydia. Lydia seemed to be losing courage. "Derek, darling, you're giving this too much importance. I'm just asking for some personal time to—" "Go with your boyfriend, Roger. We know." Lydia looked shocked. "Roger, why did you talk about him? He's just a friend from work. I needed time to figure it out. How to have sex with Roger without sneaking up on me, while still keeping my options open for me and the girls. We know." "You know? What are you talking about?" "I'm just suggesting that you take a little break and let me neglect your responsibilities as a wife and mother." "Well, we're going to give you a break. Except we're calling it a divorce, not a trial separation or a leave of absence from the marriage." "Derek, you're overreacting to what I said. There is no reason to talk about divorce. This will only be in September." "Girls, why do you have suitcases with you?" "Girls, I'm sorry. I couldn't wait. Why don't you continue talking to your mother while I go get my suitcase?" I went upstairs, but I heard voices coming from the kitchen. Lydia spoke. "Girls, I'm afraid that your father has the wrong impression of what I asked." Alicia spoke first. "Be realistic, Mom. We've known for months what you and your lover were planning." "Well, I have no idea what you're talking about." Eddie butted in. "Yes, you understand. We're talking about your Wednesday dinners, which turned into Wednesday snacks, which are about to turn into a 2-week cruise with Dodger Roger." "What?" "You had no way of knowing. I mean, I didn't do anything like that. Roger is just someone I have lunch with sometimes. Alicia took the initiative into her own hands. Is it true? The first time you two decided to move your lunch break to your room at the Executive Inn, Dad got a call. They were looking for you at the office. You and Roger have exceeded your hourly limit for lunch. Dad said he has no idea where you've been. When you got home that evening, he made up a story about calling you after dinner and missing you. You lied and told him you were in a meeting with your boss. It wasn't a lie. It was true. I was at a meeting with Mr. Albright. The secretary must have made a mistake. You know, she's not the most reliable person in the world. Edie commented, "Since when did Roger become your boss and the room at the Executive Inn became his office?" In any case, that's when Dad decided to hire a private detective. We have many videos, recordings, and photos. It's true, Mom. This loser is not nearly as good-looking as our father. Oh, I can't believe you had sexy sex with him. You have become bored in your old age. How dare you talk to your mother like that? Alicia replied. How dare you do what a bored woman does instead of acting like our mother? I heard Lydia respond with some anger in her voice. If your father suspected something, why didn't he tell me directly and stop me? He obviously didn't think it was that big of a deal. I think it was Alicia who said, Mom, you have a ring on your finger that says Daddy should never tell you not to have sex with another man. You agreed to renounce everyone else in your marriage vows. Dad said that if he had stopped you this time with Roger, your desire for another man would have only been temporarily put on hold. By the time you were ready to try again, you would have learned to hide your deception better. Well, he could have said something. He should have said something if it was bothering him that much. It just shows that he doesn't care whether I enjoy another man's innocent attention or not. I don't understand why he suddenly became so jealous. No, Mom, he didn't tell you anything because he needed time to prepare. His lawyer and accountant were working on ways to stop you from getting your dirty hands on his money in a routine divorce. He didn't want the threat of financial ruin to influence his decision whether to stay married or not. A few weeks later, he came to us and told us what was happening. He showed us a video. What we saw and heard disgusted us. Eddie and I told him we were on his side. The Pope explained that modern divorce laws favor the wife, no matter what she has done, to break her marriage vows. As I said, his lawyer and accountant have spent the last couple of months reducing your overall bills. I bet you didn't know that thanks to your cheating, Edie and I's college education is now fully funded. What? It must have cost him a fortune. Where did he get the money? Oh shit. I understand now. He knows I wouldn't try to get your college money back. This is downright mean of him. And you two conspired with your father against me, didn't you? No, Mom. It was you and your lover who conspired against our family to either turn a blind eye to your exploits or allow you to destroy us while you ran away with your lover and most of Dad's money. We were just covering our asses. And it sure takes a lot to cover your ass, sis. Eddie's comment made them both laugh. Little bitch. Big bitch. So, girls, I said, going downstairs with my suitcases. Lydia looked shocked. Derek, can't we all calm down and talk about this? I admit that I may have made a big mistake. I really don't want a separation, much less a divorce. I'll tell Roger that I was wrong to want to spend some time with him. I'll never see him again, I promise. I never planned on divorcing you or leaving Roger. I just wanted to have some fun with someone else. Too little too late, darling. I understand you and Roger have already paid for 2 weeks on the Love Boat. In my humble opinion, you two really need to enjoy your trip because I expect your life to be significantly more difficult when you return. What do you mean by this? First of all, you will have to take care of all the household chores and other responsibilities yourself because the girls and I will live in a new apartment. Secondly, oh, Dad, which one did you choose? Please let it be the one with the hot tub. The day before yesterday, when I last checked, it was still available. We may have to spend a couple of nights in a hotel room until we find out if it's available or not, but I'm pretty sure we'll get the apartment we want. The girls showed their pleasure and excitement. As I said, secondly, I don't think you'll be alone here. Eventually, Roger will need somewhere to live. Madge told me. Madge? Have you met Roger's wife? Our trip shouldn't matter to her. She doesn't care. Their divorce is almost finalized anyway. I assume Roger told you so. The truth is that their divorce came as a surprise to Madge when I met her almost 2 months ago. She waited and prepared with us so that she would be ready to respond as soon as you two broke the news to us. I called her a few minutes ago while I was upstairs. I imagine Roger being kicked out of their house right now. She said something about her older brother coming to help her take out the trash. He told me that she had already agreed to the divorce and she didn't care if we went on a cruise or anything else. Madge said he told her he needed to go to California for 2 weeks of training. A week or so ago, she received confirmation from his boss that there was no such training. Did she talk to Mr. Albright? Yes, that is right. What a coincidence. He's your boss too. This brings us to the third. When you and Roger return from your trip, you won't have to go back to work. Your and Roger's boss was waiting for one word from me to fire you two. He agreed to wait and in the meantime was selecting a replacement. He wouldn't do anything like that. Roger and I are valuable collaborators. You and Roger are employees whose actions would allow Madge and I to sue your company for allowing adultery during work hours. He was quite pleased when we agreed to drop the lawsuit on the condition that you both be fired. It shouldn't have been as you say. Now Lydia was crying. No. You were expected to remain a faithful wife and mother. We were supposed to grow old, retire, and enjoy our grandchildren together. Instead, you chose to alienate your family, significantly reduce the amount of money you would have, and tarnish your reputation beyond repair. Derek, I can't believe you could treat me so badly. I thought you loved me. What else are you planning to do just to annoy me? Glad you asked. If you fight your divorce, an edited version of your escapades with Roger will end up with your parents, your relatives, your coworkers, our neighbors, and they just might end up on a pornography website. This cannot be. Derek, I still love you. I always returned home. I just wanted to be me for a little while. In about a month, everything would be back to normal. Now, you attacked me for no reason. Of course, all these years of marriage are worth cutting me some slack. You all should give me some forgiveness and a second chance. Actually, no, we don't do that. You had a second, third, fourth, etc. chance every time you decided to meet Roger instead of doing what a wife and mother should do. As for what this marriage was worth, just 3 months ago, it was worth everything to me. That's when I learned that our marriage and our children meant nothing to you, or at least a lot less than they used to. Lydia, you hurt me very much. I was so depressed that I probably would have done something to myself if it was just the two of us. I thought about giving in to you, but then I thought that my actions would teach our girls that what you did was normal for you and therefore for them to do to their future husbands. I couldn't do it. I thought about filing for a regular divorce, but the thought of not being able to see my girls whenever I wanted helped me get my head around the madness. After what my lawyer told me about divorce in favor of the wife, regardless of adultery, I want you and Roger to get as little reward and as much punishment as possible. I think you'll soon see that we did a pretty good job. Now listen to me, Derek. You can't just pick up and leave with the kids. I'm their mother. The court will grant me custody and a divorce. I'll charge you with kidnapping if you take them. Don't think I won't do it. Perhaps you are partly right in what you said. However, my lawyer and I plan to postpone all procedures until Edie was old enough to officially declare who she wanted to live with. Alicia has already signed the notarized statement. I admit that you might be able to get Eddie to spend some time with you, but it probably won't do you any good. Edie intervened. Yes, Mom. Do you think I used to be a rude and impulsive teenager? Just wait until I start skipping school, experimenting with drugs, and having sex with boys. If this doesn't work, I'll complain that your boyfriend Roger is sexually harassing me with your support. So, you see, Lydia, we are ready. And you? Obviously, not as much as I thought. You were supposed to accept the trial separation and perhaps be upset, but in a few months you would greet me again like the prodigal daughter. No harm, no foul. I really didn't plan for a nasty divorce. I just wanted you to think that divorce was too much to pay for allowing myself to take a couple of months off. Now I don't know what to do. It's none of our business at the moment, but I would encourage you to try to figure out how you're going to survive with the house and its bills without a steady income. You can sell the house and get half the equity. If it's a flash sale, you should have enough money to tide you over until you find a new job. Lydia. As Derek and the girls were about to leave the house, the phone rang. Derek said, "It must be Roger looking for a place to stay. Don't let him use anything of mine except you, of course." He left before I could call him by name. "Hello? Lydia? I assume you found out we were caught." "Yes, they just left." "You bastard. Things are not going at all like you said. I shouldn't have fallen for your bait." "Hey, I didn't seduce you. You attacked me in your office. I may have been hot when I was jogging, but you were on fire. We have no time to argue now. We need to figure out what to do to save our marriages and jobs. Can I come?" Madge kicked me out. I really can't afford a motel. "I don't think it matters now. But hurry up. I need to try to get some sleep tonight. Maybe we can do something tomorrow to at least save our jobs." Can you pick me up? I don't have my car keys, and I don't want to go back and deal with Madge again tonight. Data. The night of the fight was the last time we were together as a family. Before the divorce hearing was scheduled, Lydia disappeared. The house was quickly sold. She took her half of the capital and all our savings and checks, I think out of spite. I wasn't worried. Most of our funds went towards prepaying for the girls' college. My share of the sale of the house was only about $20,000. A few years ago, we took out a mortgage to build a back deck and patio, so our equity at sale was lower than it would have been a few years ago. I used the money from selling the house to replace our emergency fund that I used to fund the kids' college. I didn't really need the money right away, given my income and no child support payments. Another reason I wasn't unhappy with my wife leaving was because I liked the idea of a warrant being issued for my soon-to-be ex-wife's arrest for stealing half of my savings account. This was hardly enough to be considered a criminal offense. I guessed that in the near future, I would need to add no child support. Ultimately, due to Lydia's actions, I decided to wait a year and file for divorce due to abandonment, which essentially confirmed the status quo and made it impossible for her to later come back to me for money or custody. I refused to issue a warrant for Lydia's arrest. I had no interest in getting her back. Roger, oddly enough, remained in the area. I heard he found a low-paying job and lives modestly on his own. Madge recently told me that she is engaged to one of her divorced neighbors, but is in no rush to get married. Once burned, twice shy. Well done. The girls and I did well. Now they are both in college. Alicia graduates from school next year. Edie could graduate in 3 years, although she is considering joining the Marines. The girls message their mom on Facebook, but do not share information about me with her or about her with me, as per my instructions. I'm still working at my old job, and I have a friend who has a divorce benefits agreement until she graduates. Since my girls have moved out and her son is about to start college, she will probably move in with me soon. We didn't talk about marriage, but we did talk about commitment and exclusivity. My sex life has never been better. She takes the pills and we use condoms. You know, I have to continue, be prepared. You saw this coming, didn't you? Lydia, hello? You forgot about me? Derek, of course, forgot. The girls were willing to keep in touch with me, but said that their father did not want to give information about himself or receive information about me. God, it's like the first 20 years of our marriage were nothing. I was a good wife and mother during those years, damn it. I worked a lot at home and at work. My money, along with Derek's money, went towards maintaining the house, girls, cars, and all our bills. I contributed enough that I didn't feel guilty about taking the rest of our checks and savings, the little that was left after Derek went crazy. Funding a girls' college in advance? A brilliantly smart move on his part. How could I dispute this? I'm not such a bitch to chase this money. I guess that's the real question. How big of a bitch have I been? Did I deserve all the punishment I received after 245 months of being a good wife and mother and only 3 months of being bad? I don't care what you say. Do the math yourself. I didn't deserve what happened to me, At least not all of this. In fact, it wasn't so much 3 months of bad behavior as it was 3 months of stupidity. Roger wasn't such a good prize. Much of its value lay in the thrill of keeping a secret and the thrill of taking such a risk. As soon as I came face to face with this, the value of my relationship with Roger dropped to almost zero. The poor guy wanted to move in with me, said I owed him for ruining his marriage. Give me a break. Why did I leave the city? I was a slut and a cheater with a horny loser with the pictures to prove it. I felt like everyone knew what I did. I didn't trust Derek not to. Release the video and add to my shame in front of the people who knew me. Overnight, he went from Mr. Baby to Dr. Vengeance. When I left, I was hoping to start over, waiting for Derek to relent and think about taking me back. So here I am, waiting. I got a good job. I worked in finance for a health insurance company. I was the one who had to discuss with clients why they had to pay any money even if they had insurance. Now I work at a hospital trying to explain to people why they should pay the hospital any money when they have insurance. Fortunately, Mr. Albright, my former supervisor, was honest about my abilities and also told me why I was fired. My new boss said he was willing to take a risk by hiring me, but warned that any smell of lewd smoke from me would be a reason for him to put out the fire. I have a cute little apartment. I don't need much. I don't have a very active personal life. Unfortunately, I spend a lot of time on a special chat site for women who have been dumped due to cheating. It's amazing how well I got off compared to some of the women in the chat. Hey, I still look good. Derek knows I can be a good wife and mother because I was. Does he really want to go through this whole middle-aged dating scene and get a new wife? I'll wait a little. I hope the girls will finally give in a little and work on their dad for my sake. Derek was preparing for our divorce. I will prepare for our reconciliation. I spent a lot of time thinking about the good years. It doesn't require much. A song, a picture, a smell, a word, and I'm immersed in the land of memories. My heart feels strange, almost painful when I do this. Often I cry. I can't believe Derek doesn't do the same, especially when he's with the girls. How many of his memories of girls include me? He must miss me. He must. We meant too much to each other for me to no longer matter to him. Derek, please look into that place in your heart that wants to still love me, wants to forgive me, wants to give me a second chance. I will never betray you again. I was stupid to flush 20 wonderful years of walking the same path together down the toilet. I hope he won't be so stupid as to let me go after such a short detour. Will he do it? Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one.